Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Martina. In today's video, I'm going to be answering my most frequently asked question, which is when will international students resume back to China? When will international students be allowed to come back into China? You guys have been asking me this question a lot and I have been ignoring it because I have been seeing the questions because I didn't really think I had anything to say about it. But after asking you guys to ask me a question again and I still got a lot of when will international students come back to China, I tried to just come and say my opinion about it, what I think about it, and why I think what I think. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment down below, and let us begin. First of all, if you do not know, when the pandemic started, China closed their borders and a lot of students had gone back home and they have not been able to come back. So most schools studying have been done online for students that are outside China. And there has been a lot of worry, confusion, frustration from students wondering when they'll be able to come back. Honestly, if I was in your shoes, I would also be very frustrated, wondering when I will come back to China also. And as a medical student, it can be even more difficult because studying medicine online is something else. But then, honestly, no one really knows when students will be able to come back. I don't know. My school doesn't know. My professors don't know. The Chinese government also don't know. Like, no one actually knows because it is not in anyone's hands. It all just depends with the situation going on in the country, outside the country, in the whole world. It just depends on the pandemic situation. This is because China is trying to protect its country, protect its people, especially because the situation is now more serious outside of China. And then, but at the same time, I also know that China opened their borders to foreigners, but they only restricted students from coming in. And honestly, that got me thinking. I was like, okay, you allow people that work come back into the country. What about students, people that actually pay you to school here, and you don't allow them come back? I was honestly really thinking about that, but honestly, my thoughts don't matter to the Chinese government, neither do your thoughts or anyone's thoughts. So whatever they are doing, they obviously have their reason for restricting international students. And even being in China now, I would say things are getting more serious. I don't see the borders being open to international students anytime soon. And this is because I just graduated last Friday, and for my graduation, in order for my graduation ceremony to happen, they had to have an agreement with the government that says, okay, you can only allow 50 people into this hall. So the graduates, some teachers and the leaders, and that is all. And if there are more than 50 people in that hall, your ceremony will be cancelled. And this is in January of 2021. Is a rule this strict is being put in place when the graduation for last year, July of 2020, like 2020 was the year that the pandemic was like so serious, where it felt like that was the year of the pandemic. But the graduation of 2020 July, students were allowed to come in, not a lot, but there was no restriction. But now January of 2021, there's a restriction that says only 50 people can be in this hall at once or the ceremony will be cancelled. So that just gave an insight to the situation of things in the country, to the situation of this whole pandemic, giving an idea that like students may not be able to come back anytime soon. Personally, I don't think students can come back this year because right now there is a second wave in most countries. Even in China of recent, there's a second wave. There are so many new cases in my province, for example, and like schools have gone back on lockdown. So like my school, for example, students can no longer go in and go out like earlier, like the end of 2020 when the lockdown was eased. Now it's getting more strict all over again. You can actually see people go back to wearing masks because like towards the end of 2020, my city, for example, almost 60% of people stopped wearing face masks because everyone was like, oh, it's fine, we don't have any cases in our city, not in our province. But I can say from beginning of 2021 and like the last 2 weeks of 2020, people went back to wearing masks. You can actually see that something has changed, that there's an information that has been circulated that people need to go back to wearing masks. People need to take this thing more seriously. I didn't even know about it. I just went to the mall one day and I saw that, okay, almost everybody's wearing masks. But like 2 weeks ago, almost very little people were wearing masks. So something has changed. So the situation is not getting any better. And if you're someone that is so worried, I think you should just relax, because for me, it's not going to happen in March. The March intake is not going to happen, and then the next intake is September, October intake. That is almost at the end of 2021. So people need to just relax, because that also may not happen. The Chinese New Year is coming up, which is like February 12th. So within that period, we just hope there's no surge of new cases, because this was what like actually caused the surge of cases last year, 2020, the Chinese New Year, because a lot of people traveled during that period. So hopefully that does not happen. If that happens, then honestly we do not know. So based on my experiences, based on what I see happening in the country, I can be able to tell you that I don't think it is going to happen anytime soon. So I'm not just going to leave you guys hanging like that. I want to drop some advice on what you can do in the meantime. If you really want to school, you really want to participate in your classes, and it's just not happening, and online school is not working for you, because online school is not working, does not work. It's very, I don't know how to put it, it's not so effective. So for example, if you're a medical student, let's say if you're currently applying to study in China, you've not gotten any admission and you're waiting for China to give you an admission, what I would advise is that you consider going to other countries, because yes, some other countries have opened their borders and students can come in. So I would advise that you consider checking out other countries. If you're someone that has already gotten admission to China but you have not come into the country yet, maybe you're like first semester and they gave you admission and said, okay, you can start online, that is okay, no problem. You can start online for now, and we don't know how long this is going to take, but you can start online for now. And I'm also going to say something else about this, just give me a moment. For students who have already been studying in China, they've been in China for a while, they went back home for holiday and they cannot come back into China, as a medical student, what I would advise, now this advice now goes for everyone who is already enrolled, even if you've never been to China and you've already started school online, or you've been to China and you went back home for the holiday. As a medical student, I would advise that you find a hospital in your country, in your city, wherever you are, that you can volunteer at to get some experience, because online school there's no practical experience. So find a hospital nearby which you can go, find a doctor that you can shadow, that will allow you shadow him and you see what he does. He might teach you some things. I think you should look for opportunities like that, because that is the best thing that you can do for now. Also, because the COVID situation in most countries are also serious, so it might not be easy to get these opportunities, but at the same time it may also be available to you if you ask, if you seek out for these opportunities. Just make sure you're taking all the necessary precautions, because the situation is real and it is very serious in so many countries in the world. Also, if there are universities, if there are medical universities in your country which are currently in session and students are going to school, I think you should make friends with medical students in your country or in your city and find out what they are doing. Since they in the country are able to go to school, find out what they are doing, find out what they are learning, and if you can, follow that friend to class. Yes, I don't know how classes are wherever you guys are, but for example, when I was a medical student in China, Usually our classes, we have like a number of students, and the lecturer does not really know every student. So someone that is not even part of our class can come into the class and join to learn. So if that is possible, I advise you make a medical student friend in whatever university that is close to you, and then you accompany that person to class, so at the same time you can also learn and get some knowledge. If they have any practical class, I don't know if it's possible for you to accompany, but always discuss with that medical student friend and ask, okay, can I accompany you to class? Are you sure the professor will not have any problem with that? Ask questions, and if you can do that, when they go to the hospital, if it's possible for you to accompany, you should. And if it is not, then like I said before, reach out to hospitals and tell them that you want to volunteer, you want to learn, you're a first year medical student or a second year, third year, whatever year you are. Reach out and tell them you want to learn, and you might have to apply, write a letter, however it works there, and you may get an opportunity. So these are the things that you can do in the meantime, just to ensure that while you're having online school, you're gaining some clinical experience, gaining more practical experience, which you cannot really get here in China. So this is all I have for you guys. If you're not a medical student and you're studying any other course, and you also think that online school is not enough for you, then you can also reach out to students in a university close by doing your course and ask them if you can accompany them to class, and you can also learn with them. So these are some of the things that you can do to keep you occupied, ensure that you're learning before China decides to open its borders to students, and hopefully that happens soon, but we do not know. But in the meantime, just ensure that you keep learning, you keep going to the hospital, gaining experience, and you don't just take a long break and say, oh, since I'm not attending classes and you don't like online classes, you're not going to do anything. So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Remember to share this video with everyone that you think will need it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.